There we go. All right, I figured it out. Yes, we are in Secaucus today to answer your question, Girly Sound. I will be on at 12 o'clock today, between 12 and 1 on MLB Now. We'll be talking everything on these upcoming Game 3s. So already dressed up, ready to go. I want to give a quick happy birthday to my daughter Bradley. Big 10th birthday today. Can't believe she's 10. That's wild. Saw her a little bit this morning. Did the birthday thing in the morning. Do some more stuff later. So happy birthday to the kid, Bradley Ottavino. All right. Thank you guys for looking sharp. I feel it. Feel looking good. And we have game notes today. I got on that early list, so I'm very excited to do the show today. Oop. Hold on. We can fix this in one moment. We should be able to. It's very odd. Oh, there we go. Bam, we're back. All right. All right, so we got everything going on today. Obviously, the big three games, Detroit, Cleveland, San Diego, Chicago, Boston, New York. We'll get into that in 1 second. But I thought it would be really fun to immediately go ahead and watch our guy Roki Sasaki pitch the ninth, because that's pertinent as we head into the second round. And I didn't stay up for this, so I didn't see Sheehan, Vesia, or Sasaki pitch. Yoshi really settled in big time in this one, but let's watch all of this Roki Sasaki outing. First batter up, Spencer Steer, 100.7 mile an hour. So that's a really good sign. That's even better velocity than the first few times we saw him in the regular season at the end of the year. There's that split, 532 RPM. Crazy little knuckleball type forkball split action. There's 101-1 down. That is beautiful. And here comes the split for the finish. Ooh, gets the half swing. -6 VB on that. That's dropping straight down off the table. Look at the height this thing starts at. So initially out of the hand, we're talking belt high-ish, belt high. And then it bounced. It literally bounced. So that's filth. I don't think we answered any of the questions that we still have about Roki, which is how's he going to deal with adversity at this point in the year? How's he going to do when he's in a really hairy situation? But the stuff looks filthy. These two pitches are really, really good. Yesterday, I got a really good comment asking me if I thought Sasaki should copy a little bit of Cade Smith because they have a little bit of similar arsenals. And I hadn't realized that until I watched Cade yesterday. And yeah, the RPM on the split's super low. The fastball's fast. Roki's actually is faster. But you see here 0-2 actually getting below the bat of Lux, which is interesting. Splitter away. Oh, -7.6. That is filthy. Look at this ball drop. Doesn't matter where it is in the zone. This one actually pops at, I would say, above the belt. And then watch this plummet. Look how much he misses this by. Here's the bat, and here's the ball. So he misses that by quite a bit. Just nasty, nasty stuff from Roki right here. That's so cool. All right, let's watch it in full speed again. So he's got that type of swing and miss action that most people just don't have. Also getting in the act a little bit, using the energy to help him. Ooh, big exhale there, and then the final out of the game. And this was a good sign for him to come and have a 1-2-3 inning to close this game out. And he must have left this ballpark. He must have left Chavez Ravine last night with the confidence super, super sky high. Almost gets a one pitch out there. But look, pounding the strike zone, sitting 100, 101 in this game. And almost punches out the side. Austin Hayes, who seems to always be on the fastball, gets to that one. Little 57 mile an hour jam job out to Mookie, and that's the ball game. Yamamoto threw a hell of a game. Gave up some runs he didn't deserve in the beginning of the game. But held in there and pretty much shoved the rest of the way. We'll go look at his stuff in a second. And then Sasaki closing it out was big. Vesia also with the bounce back outing, and this one looked pretty good. Sheehan got in there. He gave up the 2 runs, but a little insight of how they want to use him. They're using him in the up situations. Obviously, they're up by a lot here. But they did bring Sheehan in here in the 8th inning. It got a little hairy, so they had to go to Vesia, but still, I think he'll still play a role. So this is the first game out of the pen for Emmett in a while, but I still think he's going to be in the good graces, despite giving up some hits today. Sal Stewart and Lux, both hits were really good at bats, and then they actually battled him on both of these walks too. So it wasn't a great outing, but it's okay. Anyway, let's go look at Yamamoto by the numbers yesterday, and we'll close out talking about the Dodgers a little bit. So Yoshi had that weird first inning, but after that he absolutely cruised. 44 fastballs, 32 curveballs. So really leaned heavy on the curveball, and it was a heck of a pitch for him. 18 splits, 10 sinkers, 6 cutters, and 3 sliders. Velocity was up across the board, as you can see here. Fantastic. Mitch is saying the fastballs probably play similarly since Cade has slightly more extension. I would agree. I think that's actually a pretty good comparison. Roki Sasaki, Cade Smith, 2 different deliveries. Cade Smith kind of rushes it up there on you, and Roki has the big leg kick, especially with nobody on. But the 2 pitches definitely play similar. It's like a forkball type split with big drop, a lot of movement variability with it, and a low spin, and then the screaming four-seamer. Okay, what did he do for the whiffs last night? 33% whiff, 52 swings, 17 whiffs. So 52 swings, and we've seen this a little bit with the guys that have gone deep, the Crochets, the Freeds, Gavin Williams, Skubal, and now Yamamoto. When you're an ace pitcher in the playoffs and you're pounding the zone, the other team comes out swinging. They're thinking, he's not going to give it to us. We got to be aggressive. So 52 swings is amazing. But 17 whiffs, 33% whiff, right on target. Very good percentage there. A lot of them came on this curveball. He leaned into it heavy yesterday. 16 swings on curveballs, 7 whiffs for 44%, which is outstanding. So Yamamoto, great. I think he's been the best starter in the game the last month. He's right there with Skeens, right there with Skubal, right there with Crochet, right there with all these guys. He's been unbelievable, and the Dodgers have themselves a true ace. They are now going to play Phillies next. They're going to line up Shohei in the game 1. That's going to be a hell of a series. Might be the 2 best teams left, and they're locking up in the division series in a 5-game. Winner moves forward in there. I'm getting sent some really cute pictures of Archie right now from home that my wife's sending me. Aww. Anyway, all right, let's get into the game notes for today's big 3 games, because that's what we're really here for, is the information about these 3 games. So we'll get it popping right away. Again, big shout out to the MLB Network researchers, Nate Purinton, the research director, Mark Adelberg. I mean, these guys kill it every single day. So 3 of the 4 wildcard series this fall will require a Game 3. This is after only 2 of the previous 12 series ever went to a Game 3. And no team since 2022 has lost Game 1 and then come out on top. But 3 teams have a shot at that today. And then here's some stats that they like. Since September 1st, Mason Miller 1 for 45 against this dude with 34 Ks. That's about as good as you can do on the mound. He's basically the best pitcher in the world right now, pitch for pitch. And that's going to come into play as we talk about the Cubs and Padres Game 3, since Mason has pitched in each of the first 2 games, and he threw quite a bit yesterday. Padres batters has hit 300 versus Cubs starting pitchers, but only 119 versus the relievers. Now, I was kind of saying that this was a mismatch on paper between the Padres and the Cubs bullpens, but I couldn't have been more wrong in terms of how it's played out so far. The Cubs bullpen's done a really nice job. So see if they can do it 3 hours straight, 3 games straight here, and get the job done. And also looming over this a little bit is the Cubs have lost each of their last 3 elimination games, 2 runs scored in 31 innings. Now, I was part of one of those. They got 1 run against us. Came off of me in a 14-inning game, wildcard game 2018. Here are the game times today, 3:08. Everything gets pushed back a little bit because there's no Dodger game. So Tigers and Guards are at 3:08. Cubs and Pods 5:08. And Red Sox Yankees, the big one tonight, 8:08. All right, we'll get back to this is a lot of the pitching stuff. We'll get into that in a moment, but let's get down to Tigers and Guardians. Jack Flaherty versus Slade Ciccone, both guys with ERAs in the mid-4s this season, so I don't expect a lot of rope here. Obviously, each manager's hoping for a 100th percentile moment type of outing from these guys based on how they've been this year, and then maybe you can ride them. But trust me, there's going to be a lot of pitching changes in this game. AJ Hinch and Stephen Vogt kind of going tit for tat here, trying to figure out how they're going to get through this game and end up with more runs than the other team. Now, one thing that I was just mentioning over in the production meeting, we were talking about this game, is Detroit has scored 3 total runs while going 2 for 23 with runner scoring position in the first 2 games of the series. Where are they going to get the offense from? They're trying everything. They pinch hit for Riley Green in a big spot yesterday with Jahmai Jones. AJ's pushing every button he possibly can to get as much out of this lineup as he can, because right now they're not doing anything offensively, and it's showing. Torkelson, 4 for 30, no extra base hits in 16 games in his last 8 games overall. Still expected to play, even though he took a foul ball off the right foot and a hit by pitch in the 9th. And Cade Smith, they need Torque in there, but he's been struggling. Parker Meadows, Gleyber Torres, and have also been struggling. Cleveland got the 5 runs on the 4 extra base hits in the 8th inning of the game 2. Brian Rocchio, Bo Naylor each hit homers. They're calling him the playoff Rocchio. He hit the 8th inning go-ahead home run. He's now batting .308, .386, .513 in 12 postseason games. So it's a small sample, but Rocchio has not been intimidated by the big stage. Now, Jack Flaherty, he makes his 10th career postseason start, first since World Series Game 5 clincher last October at Yankee Stadium. He allowed 4 runs in an inning and a third, but took a no decision in LA rally. Walker Buehler closed it out, as we all know. Jack's been kind of feast or famine in his playoff starts in his career. Either he's been outstanding, like he was actually in Game 1, I believe, versus the Mets last year, NLCS, but then also he can get hit pretty hard. It's fastball, breaking ball, we kind of know what he's got. Comes down to command and a little batted ball luck for Jack. Ciccone makes his first start of the postseason ever. He got 2 scoreless innings of relief in the 2023 NLCS against the Phillies when he was with the D-backs. His last start, he lost 7-3, gave up 4 runs in 4 innings. Prior to that, he was on a little bit of a burner, 20 2/3, 2 earns over his 3 starts prior to that last clunker to end the season. So that's why they're going with him. He showed pretty well down the stretch. And also this year, 1-1, 2.25 in 12 innings over 3 starts versus the Tigers. Ciccone on July 4th after his 2-1 loss to Detroit. We're going to see ourselves in a great spot at the end of the season. I fully believe that. Those words rang very, very true, because here we are in a winner-take-all. You win this game, and you get a date with the Mariners, I believe, after this. Javier Baez batting .435 with a homer and 6 RBIs in the last 6 games, so that's a good sign for the Tigers. A little bit looking about where that offense might come from for the Guardians. Jose Ramirez, of course, raking. Nothing shocking there. Chase DeLauder made his MLB debut yesterday, 0 for 2 with an error, and also threw behind a guy. But 2 of his outs were the 6 hardest hit balls by Cleveland. Let's go to DeLauder, actually. Detroit and Cleveland. I'm not just going to read off this thing the whole time. It just gets the mojo going. Now, there was 2 defensive plays early in this game. This was the first one. DeLauder error on a fly ball. Now, there was a lot of wind in this game and sun, and you can see he's in deep trouble here. What a scary place to be in your first MLB start in the first inning, and then you end up dropping a fly ball in center field. So just got to turn the page on that. You know, he's battling the sun here. You can see it. Kind of drops it. But he made his presence be felt a little bit later here, where here it is. Dylan Dingler was on second base with 2 outs in this inning. And I didn't cover this yesterday, but this was a huge play in the game. And DeLauder came up big. So this is a game-tying hit. Should have been a go-ahead hit, but really bad base running here. DeLauder throws to third as he sees the runner running right in front of him and actually throws a perfect one-hop throw to Hosey, puts it on him. After review, he was ruled out. But the key to this play is our guy Dylan Dingler on second base does not touch home before they get the out at third. So this loomed really large in this game. At the moment, this would have given them a 2-1 lead. Dingler runs, kind of lets up a little bit at the end. If you watch the pace on Dingler here, as we come around, he kind of lets up there and then tries to rush and get home. It's a little bit too little too late. That run comes off the board, so DeLauder saves a run there, even though he made the bad play earlier. Let's watch his at-bats. So this is all 3 of his at-bats in his Major League debut, which comes in a playoff game, which is wild. Let's just watch him. Casey Mize. Splitter, swing and miss, so he comes out swinging it. Splitter, splitter. So they know he's here for a reason. They're just going to pump him fastballs. 96-1 away. Now, DeLauder, product of James Madison University, Colonial Athletic Association Baseball, same conference as I was in with Northeastern my last year. In fact, I did throw a no-hitter against these boys. Obviously, he wasn't on the team, but I have a little experience with that program, and very cool to see a stud hitter coming out of there. Who almost gets him with the backdoor slider, so goes from 0-2 to 3-2. Pretty good approach here. Got a little scissor action with his feet on his swing. And here is a slider. And he ends up drawing the walk. So really good at bat. Goes from 0-2 to a walk. Second at bat versus Holton. So left on left. Appreciate all the love in the chat. Here comes a sinker. Fouled away. So left on left, you're going to get those in the big leagues nowadays. You're going to get those same side sinkers pounding you in. It's kind of a new thing for lefties to be doing that to lefties. At least a big population of them are turning to that now. So that's a new adjustment for all these lefties to make their first time through the big leagues. Anyway, great at bat here. Battles again. Shown a lot with 2 strikes. Fouling pitches off, spitting on tough pitches. So he doesn't get any hits in his big league debut. But I do think he had a quality at bat every time. The swing's pretty simple, so you can see he's a pretty big guy. There's probably some opposite field ability here as well. Hits a pretty hard grounder here, 99, straight to Glaber, and then his last at-bat comes against Finnegan, so it's all cheese and splitters. Gets the splitter first pitch. They're shying away definitely from the fastball against him. Here's one. And you see why. He's all over that. He hit the crap out of that ball. Damn, almost 111 miles an hour at 13 degrees. You can see his family's a little bummed. They thought that was the hit. Man, he smashed this ball. Oh, we got Mark Kiger alert in the chat. Mark Kiger made his MLB debut in the playoffs and never played another inning in the big leagues, which is crazy that's how that goes down. That's very weird. Let's look at this swing from the side. This is our first look at this kid. Wow. A little bit of a Shohei like hip thrust at the final moment here off of a very stiff front leg with a scissor action. So that's where his power's coming from. Stays closed with the upper half really well. So not a lot of pull off on that shoulder. And obviously pretty good exit velocity capabilities. So that's it for this one. And we'll look for a few more of these notes on this game. Cleveland's bullpen has now thrown 7.1 scoreless innings in this series. Detroit is just 2 for 23 against Cleveland's pen. This is a big deal, though. Pitched the first 2 games of this series. Cade Smith has thrown 50 pitches. He's their best pitcher. Hunter Gaddis has thrown 39. He's probably their second most trusted reliever. And Eric Sabrowski, 23. He'll be fine. Sabrowski will be fine for a back-to-back-to-back. And these other guys are going to be available for sure. But Cade Smith, 50 total pitches is a big ask. If he goes 15, 20, 25 pitches today, he's in dangerous territory. And honestly, he looked a little shaky yesterday. So you have that going for you. Here's some of the others. Troy Melton had a tough go. Don't see him going back in there. This is all Tigers, guys. Will Vest, he's all clear to go. He threw 15 in the game 1, didn't pitch in game 2. Finnegan's all good. He's only pitched in one of these games. Melton, I don't think we'll see him. Herder, you could see him left on left. Holton threw 31, so I don't know if they'll use him. But he was very, very effective. And for the Guardians, like I said, I think they're just going to make everybody be up here. I wouldn't be surprised if you saw Heron, who had the 2 strikeouts yesterday and looked great. And, maybe Junis in the right matchup, but you're still definitely going to see Sabrowski, Cade Smith, and Gaddis if this game is close. So that's what we got on Cleveland and Detroit. Maybe we'll put a little something in the chat who we think's going to win this game. All right, we got a little action in the chat with this poll that I just threw up there. Johnny Ellis, I just want the Tigers to win, man. They've had such a tough year. I mean, there's some mental components to this matchup as well that, Cleveland chased them down. all the way to this point. And, they're not going to get there if they don't win this game, but it would erase a lot of that pain if they could at least get past Cleveland here. But at the same time, I feel like the momentum is still on Cleveland's side, given the huge lead that was enjoyed over the summer by Detroit and how it got whittled down over time. All right, game 2 of the day is this one, Padres and Cubs. This is going to be, I think it got pushed back until like the 5 or 6 o'clock hour today. So interesting shadow situation into nighttime situation here for this game. Yu Darvish, 5-5, 5.38, but it is Yu Darvish on the mound versus Jamison Tyone, 11-7, 3.68, who actually pitched quite well at the very, very end. I don't think either pitcher will be trusted to go deep into this game, although maybe Counsell will give JMO a shot if he's super efficient early, but I still think you're going to see a ton of relief pitching in this game. And the big question is, will they deploy Mason Miller 3 days in a row? I don't think there's a question that they will, but how much? How much can you put him out there and use your secret weapon? And honestly, you're seeing now it's not really sustainable. They're going to have to get some starts if they want to keep going in the later rounds when there's more and more games that you need to win. All right, here we go. Game notes. Cubs seek their first postseason victory since defeating the Nats in 5 games back in 2017 NLDS. That was an electric NLDS, if you recall. A lot of big-time play in that series. Strasburg was a part of that. Scherzer, Rizzo, all the boys from the Cubs. So that was a hell of a series, if I recall. I think Wade Davis pitched really well in that series as well, my buddy. Been trying to get him to come on, People get a little skittish, but we'll see. Padres look for their 4th victory in their 4th wildcard series. They beat the Cardinals, Mets, and Braves in their history. JMO. Hold on, somebody's here. You're good? Yeah, no worries. If you don't mind, I don't mind.
Yeah, no, I just got to put something.
All right, yeah, sorry. JMO, 2-1, 154, 23 innings, 4 runs, 1 home run in his 4 September starts. That's what I was saying. He has been pretty hot, but he's not really a big strikeout guy. I don't think that Counsell will trust him to go very, very long in this one. First sign of trouble, you'll see the bullpen come on in here. And the Cubs bullpen's been great so far in this series. San Diego has 3 hits, all singles, and 23 at-bats versus righties so far in this series. Take that with a grain of salt, but to this point, righties on the mound have been the way for the Cubbies. Darvish starts his 4th career winner-take-all game. One was 2012 AL wildcard with Texas. He pitched well in that game, but took the loss, I believe. And then Game 7 of 27 World Series, of course, got hit pretty hard by the Astros. I think he was tipping in that game, if I recall, early on. And Game 5 of the NLDS, Dodgers last October versus the Dodgers, gave up 2 and 6 2/3 versus the Padres. But I'm pretty sure the Dodgers gave up nothing. So for the 2nd straight day, a Padre pitcher with Cubs ties starts for the Pods. Darvish used to be a Cub, that's right. So there's that a little bit. Owen Cassidy came over in that trade. He's a guy who debuted this year with the Cubs. So there's a little bit of intrigue there. Bullpens will be critical, and this is the big deal, is the Padre bullpen usage in the first 2 games. This is their advantage as a club, but also the type of thing that you don't want to overdo, but I think today you kind of have to. Your back's against the wall. You got to win, then you'll piece it together and hope that you get some starts in the next series if you're lucky enough to make it. Adrian Morejon, 42 pitches in the last 2 days, threw like 2 1/3 yesterday. Not sure what they're going to get out of the combination of him and Mason Miller. Mason Miller, 40 pitches, and he's never pitched 3 straight days. He's now thrown 24 consecutive scoreless innings, limiting opponents to just 4 hits and 73 at-bats with 50 strikeouts and 83 batters. Like I said, he's the best pitcher in the world right now, and that's why I think they're not going to be able to help themselves. They're going to use him, especially if he says he's good to go. Obviously, the velocity was insane yesterday. Averaged 103 in that game last night, which I don't think I've ever seen. So Dan O'Mac, 104 would have made Babe Ruth a full-time barnstormer. So yeah, I could see him. It's going to be fascinating how Schulte and Counsell manage these games. And really today, for all of these games, I think it comes down to the managers in a lot of ways. Obviously, the players are the ones on the field, but there's going to be critical decisions made, 3 or 4 for each manager at least throughout the course of these games. And which buttons they press, often lead to, the win or the loss. Morejon has pitched 3 straight days. He did it in September, so he's a little more prepared. Andrew Kittredge is the only pitcher for the Cubs that worked in both games, throwing 34 pitches and 2 innings of work. He did give up a run yesterday as the opener. I still think Kittredge will be available. He's had some arm issues, so we'll see, but That'll be interesting. Further intrigue is Michael King. Michael King could piggyback Yu Darvish. He only threw not very many innings at the end coming off the IL, but he did throw his last 7 2/3 scoreless. I think he would have been arguably their game 1 starter had he been healthy the whole year. So they would have had a nice 1-2 punch with him and Pivetta, but that wasn't the case this year. Had a kind of a tough year with some injuries and some luck stuff. But he's a big X factor if he gets in there and pitches well, because he's got the ability to shut you completely down, as evidenced by his performance last year in the postseason versus the Braves. He was unbelievable in his start. I think he had 12 strikeouts. All right, now let's talk Cubs offense. Seiya Suzuki has had 2 of the Cubs' 3 extra base hits in this series. He's been red hot. We noticed it going back to the very end of the regular season. 4 home runs to close out the regular season, 1 home run in game 1 of this series. Had an extra base hit yesterday. He's the one that I would say right now, if you're a Padre, you can't let him beat you. I think that would be the idea. Can't let him beat you overall. Carson Kelly also, who's been hitting behind him. I don't know if that will be the lineup today. He did homer as well, but I'd rather go at Carson Kelly than Seiya at this moment. I don't know if you guys agree with that. Cubs have 24 strikeouts and only 2 walks in 62 plate appearances this series. So they're struggling a little bit to find ways on base and make things happen. Obviously, they won that other game based on the strength of home runs pretty much. PCA 0 for 6 with 5 Ks in this series. Some tough matchups for him. Big strikeout pitchers, and that's his weakness, is kind of swinging at everything. But if he can get on, that could change the whole dynamic for sure. Also, Happer 0 for 8. Ian Happ 0 for 8 with 5 strikeouts so far in the series. So 2 big-time guys for the Cubs have come up empty in the first 2 games. If they want to win, you're going to need to get something out of one of those guys. Cronenworth has struggled lately in the playoffs. And then there's the Kyle Tucker piece. Final game with the Cubs potential here. 28-year-olds on the cusp of free agency. He kind of got dominated yesterday by Cease a little bit. And that's kind of it. Who do we think is going to win this game today for this game, Cubs and Padres? Let's get that in the chat. What do we have over here on the voting? Ooh, pretty close on the voting. We got Detroit coming out ahead, 54% from you guys. Cleveland, 46%. Johnny Ellis throwing some shade at the A's in the chat that they never win. Speaking of Padres, there's a fun fact. Dinelson Lamet is pitching in Taiwan now. Got to see him pitch last week. Oh, wow. Man, he had filthy slider, and then he kind of got hurt. Ended up on the Rockies at one point. Never really saw him again. But enjoy that. Enjoy that out in Taiwan. All right, we're going to... Wow, we got 50% in the chat, so I'm not going to switch this poll up yet. There's a little bit of video from this game to probably watch. Like I mentioned, Hap and PCA have been scuffling really bad. If they want to win, let's see what they've been getting attacked with here. Go to yesterday's game. Ian Happ 0 for 4. Cease got him twice. First strikeout's on a fastball up, I believe so is the second. So Padres do feature a lot of velocity. Every single guy in their staff yesterday averaged over 97 on the day. Obviously with Mason Miller averaging 103, just an absurd 103. So they got velocity in bunches, and then he gets them this time with the slider down. So pretty classic north-south pitching approach when you're facing Ian Happ. And that's kind of what the Padres did to him with these first 2 at-bats with Cease, then Morihone. Flips him around to the right side. Oh, internet. There we go. Rolls over a sinker there. And the final at-bat versus Suarez. Yeah, so they've been using a lot of fastballs against him. And you're going to see a lot more of that today. Now, early in the game, Darvish doesn't really have great velo anymore, so that could be a little bit of an opportunity for Happ, I would say, when he doesn't have to face the same velo. And let's look at PCA. I'm going to watch this whole at-bat because I'm curious about his approach. Fastball up, no swing, but he does trigger. Up middle, swing through. Curveball off it. So north-south approach is Cease anyway. But they're always going to throw chase pitches to this guy. Yep. Even 2-1, you don't got to come over the plate. Still swings. 2-2. Another heater up. Ooh, thinks about bunting. That's where PCA's mental state's at right now. 2 strikes. He's like, maybe I should lay one down. So that gives you a little window into his psyche at the moment. Good pitch to hit. He's a little late on it. A little late again on the fastball. That swing is so much more built to handle the bottom of the zone. And then a slider, nowhere near, gets the chase. You know, you get this guy in a swing mode, a lot like Javi Baez at times. You just don't have to throw strikes. Makes a big difference. If he could control the zone better, he'd be unbelievable. I mean, that gets him into an 0-1 count. This is the type of pitch I would call the beard trimmer or the throat cutter, like just that up and in. Very tough. Very tough to hit that. And you definitely don't want to be swinging at that 0-0. Now bangs a sinker in off the foot. Now this is a tough matchup, but just very eager. Very, very eager. And you see the Padres know it. Look at how far outside they have their catcher setting up. I mean, this is like, we don't need to throw it anywhere near the plate status. They're willing to try that. Morejon hits his spot perfectly. It's a 1.5 foot outside. Now they're going to come back in with the sinker. It's just diabolical pitching. And all he can do is roll it over. And in the third at-bat, Mason Miller, we watched a little bit of this yesterday. This is completely unfair. It's just hard to turn the aggression dial down sometimes. It takes a long time to develop that selective aggression. Man, just the velocity coming, though, from Mason Miller is insane. Yeah, the anti-Soto. Imagine if he still was on the Mets and they had the Soto and the anti-Soto in the same lineup. 3-1, get me over there for Mason Miller, and then this is the top shelf plopper. So this time he actually tries to be disciplined, knowing he probably can't hit Mason, and instead he gets frozen anyway. So tough day for PCA. He looked very frustrated, but they're going to need to get something out of him and Happ if they want to do business here in Game 3. Okay, let's go look at the bullpen usage. I think I have it all here in the Padres Cubs. Peralta has only thrown 6 pitches in the series. Jeremiah Estrada has only thrown 10. He'll probably factor in. And Suarez is good to go. So the real question is Morejon and Miller. Come on, it's such a roll of the dice because these are your 2 best guys, probably, besides Robert Suarez. Maybe they flip it around a little bit and Suarez pitches, 25 pitches plus in this game, and they try to limit those other 2. But, this is where your training staff and communication with your guys and understanding how guys recover and how they feel is so crucial to managing your club because there's a human element that the stats and even us watching, with metrics and stuff, we're never going to really be able to get inside the entirety of this problem. We're never going to be able to surround ourselves with everything and all the information you need to know. The only way you know that is if you're inside there and you're actively seeking it out and trying to see the whole picture. And I'm pretty sure Schulte and Counsell are both doing that. For the Cubs, Kittredge is a back-to-back. Other than that, they are all 1 game only. Palencia, Pomeranz. I think Pomeranz sees big action in this game. This is part of the reason why I don't think Jama goes very far. They get Pomeranz in there pretty quick. Keller only threw 13 in the series. Ray and Soroka are fine. Rogers and Theobar, so they're locked and loaded for lefties. And then Palencia, for sure, I could see going big time in this game. They already got him 5 outs in that first time, so they're not afraid to keep going with him. I don't think they'll be afraid again. But it is going to be a battle of the bullpens with the way these teams manage and in a do-or-die situation tonight. So a lot to look at in this. In this Wago tonight. Padres and Cubs. All right, let's get in the chat for a second, then we'll do Yankees, Red Sox. And it'll be a pretty brief preview show today. Since I am over here, and I should probably, be a little prepared for the show, which, I certainly watch enough baseball. All right. Cubs have a lot of fun guys to root for. It'd be cool if Pomeranz would come on to talk about his comeback. I could probably talk to Drew. I could reach out to Drew. Not a big media type of guy, but we might be able to get him on here and talk about his journey. I think that would be great. I'm going to write that down. Thank you for that suggestion, Dano. Shooter McGavin 18, losing to the Yankees tonight will haunt me forever. And I think Yankees fans feel like losing to the Red Sox tonight will haunt them forever. Red Sox have had the Yankees number in the recent playoff showdowns. Man, there's a lot on the line today. I think the Yankees fans were fed up 2 nights ago. Now they're reeled back in. Just when you think I'm out, you pull me back in. And all the hopes and dreams are pinned on a Game 3 in the Bronx tonight and two young guys, Schlittler and Early, which we're going to look at in a second. How willing is a guy going to be in the playoffs to admit he might not have it? Probably not that willing, but also sometimes you have to face facts. And I don't know. This is where the training staff comes in, because you might have a trusted guy in there that's somebody you work with every day that is there to help get you healthy and kind of monitor you, and maybe you're a little more forthcoming with that person. When the manager comes to that trainer and says, who are my pitchers for today, that trainer needs to speak up if there's a red flag. If there's not, you let it ride, but you always have to have full communication here. I hate the half measures. I hate trainers and coaches who are scared to tell their truth. I mean, you're hired for a reason. Your expertise should be valued, and you're afraid to tell the manager what you feel. Just tell him. Just tell him. Let him figure it out. That's his job. But your job is to do your job. Don't be scared when you have information. All right, what else we got? Do you think there's a decent chance Early gets through 4 or 5 innings with the way Cora handled Yanks lefty lineup management yesterday, or is he 2 or 3 innings and on to the next? That's the big question, is how much trust will AC have? I mean, look, you get in any trouble, there's going to be action in the bullpen. It's just the nature of it this time of year. But I do think Connolly Early has a shot to be pretty effective early in this game if he's getting ahead in the count, getting to those advantage counts. Yankees have never seen him. He's got a pretty good pitch mix. He's got a nice kick change. The sinker has a ton of run in on lefties. I'm assuming the Yankees are going to play Rice and Jazz in this game, so he's going to get some lefty matchups. But Alex will not hesitate, of course, if he sees any type of weakness out there. Do you think more playoff teams should give their bullpen arms more 4+ outings in September to help them get prepared for October? I would say this in general. You want to throw a little bit of the different stressors onto your relievers that you care about as time goes on. Back-to-backs, 35 pitch outings occasionally, 2-inning outings with more rest. You want to give them a bunch of different stimuli so when you come down to this time of the year, there's no surprises. They pull me back in. Do you guys who are waiting for the DS like the Jays watch the wild card games? Yeah, I'm sure they do. I mean, not everybody. There's some guys who just can't stand to watch baseball away from the field. I wasn't like that. Obviously, I wanted to watch everything. So I would be one of the guys watching. Nick Schultz, communication is so important. Isn't it, man? In life, in general, it's really the key to people working together well, having respect for each other, and the ability to put out small fires when needed. Communication, hugely important. Shooter McCavin, if Early doesn't go 5, we don't have enough to get through the game unless it's Zach Kelly or Weissert who you can trust. Well, I think Slayton will be right back in there. And then they'll, given the Yankees are going to have some lefties in there, maybe they force them out by putting a Matz in there again. Or, I don't know, more lefties. And then eventually, obviously, Chapman, you can expect Chapman to throw a shitload in this game if they get to that spot. All right, let's do it. Yankees and Red Sox. Let's get over to the notes. Yankees and Red Sox edition. Obviously, this is huge. It's so fun to have a winner-take-all Yankees-Red Sox game from Yankee Stadium. Connolly, Early, 1-2, 2.33 versus Cam Schlittler, 4-3, 2.96. Little background on Cam Schlittler, Northeastern Husky like myself. Grew up a Red Sox fan in Massachusetts. Ben Rice, also a New Englander, went to Dartmouth. I think grew up a Red Sox fan as well. And those two guys could combine to sink the Red Sox today. If Schlittler has a big start, that'll go a long way to it. And you saw the impact Ben Rice had yesterday with the bat. Winner of this game will face the Blue Jays. Blue Jays won both season series versus Yankees and Red Sox, so that'll be tough, but you got to get there first. This, like I mentioned before, this would be the 4th consecutive postseason the Red Sox could eliminate the Yankees. 04 ALCS, 2018 ALDS, and 2021 wildcard game. So the Yankees haven't beat the Red Sox since the Aaron Boone home run. Maybe they'd like to change that around a little bit today. This is the second winner-take-all game in postseason history between two rookie starters. Really, second time ever. The other such game was Game 7 of the 2020 NLCS between Dustin May and Ian Anderson. I forgot about that. Ian Anderson was huge for the Braves there for a little while. All right, before we keep going, though, let's we got 50-50 in the chat, 40 votes, so we're going to end the poll. We don't know who's going to win, Cleveland or Detroit, but we're going to put one up for the Cubs and Padres while we continue to talk Yankees. Just give me one moment here. All right, we got the fresh poll up. Padres and Cubs. We'll continue talking about this series. This is also this is by far the fewest career appearances by two starters in a winner-take-all postseason game. They only have 18 combined appearances. The previous record was 41 in that other matchup. Shooter McGavin, Red Sox need to scout the Northeastern players better. Why do they end up Yankees? Don't they pay attention to the spring game? Well, the Red Sox area scout is Ray Fagnant. He's been there forever for the Sox and for the Yankees. What's his name? It'll come to me in a little bit, but he's been scouting Northeastern very, very well. Big pipeline there in a weird way. All right, Schlittler, 24, born in Walpole, Mass., the home of my good college teammate Tyler Thornton. Drafted out of Northeastern in 2022. Grew up a Red Sox fan. Attended the 2004 World Series parade at age 3, which is crazy because I was in college. So age 3, went to the parade. From August 1st through the end of the season, he had a 2.47, number 6 in American League in that stretch, and Early will be the 5th pitcher to make a postseason start within his first 5 MLB appearances. The last people who did this, Dylan Lee, Shane Boz, Ryan Merritt, and Matt Moore. Early is pitching in place of our guy Giolito. Yes, Matt Hyde. Great comment, Mitsuland Evo. Matt Hyde is the Yankee scout who's up there in New England. So those are the two that you always see. They're still doing it. They were doing it when I was there. They're doing it now. Early last pitched on Saturday against the Tigers, giving up 2 runs over 5 innings. He pitched 5+ innings in 3 of the 4 MLB starts. 2 of them were against the A's. He also pitched, I believe, against the Rays. But overall, he's looked quite good. The issue is he is facing the squad that is the highest OPS versus left-handed pitching in the regular season. Judge, 1279. Bellinger, 1,016. That's flown under the radar a little bit. Goldschmidt, 981. Will Goldschmidt play today or will Ben Rice play? I expect Ben Rice to play. This is a big decision. So we'll see. Early has an elite 33.9% whiff rate, but will be challenging against the Yankee squad that had the lowest chase rate in the majors. So yeah, that whiff might have to come in zone. That's much of a tough task. One thing working for Early, I think a little bit in his start, is just the unfamiliarity factor. Yankees haven't seen him. He's got good shit. There's something to that. And also he's tough as nails, this guy, military background. Very focused. Go listen to his interview with Rob Bradford on Baseball Isn't Boring, and you get the sense of what this young man's bringing to the table from a personality standpoint. Very impressive stuff. Both bullpens have been extremely busy this season. That's the understatement. Cruz, Williams, and Bednar have all thrown back-to-back and have pitched 3 straight days in their career, of course, but not in a while. The Yankees don't usually do that much until crunch time. They'll all be available today, though. Red Sox used 6 relievers on Wednesday. Whitlock, inning and 2/3, 47 pitches on Wednesday. Could pitch, despite having a season-high pitch count. And according to Alex, the rest, they are in good shape. So he's going to use everybody else, including, obviously, Chapman, as much as he possibly can. But Whitlock's going to be interesting to see if they can use him at all. I thought he threw a lot better than the run he allowed. But 47 pitches is no joke. Yankees put some hellacious at-bats on him. So big credit to the Yankees there. And you know what? That shows in this next stat. Yankees have scored all 5 of their runs in this series with 2 outs. They're hitting .318 with 2 outs. Only .227 before that. So when they shorten up a little bit and they are willing to take singles for an answer rather than extra base hits, sure enough, they're getting more hits. Who would have thunk it? Ben Rice, they're saying could be on the bench early here in the notes, but I think Ben Rice is going to play, fellas. I think this is where the Yankees finally changed their thinking a little bit from ultra matchup into let's just trust our guys. But I could be wrong. This is going to come down to a little push-pull probably in the decision-making department, and we'll see. So it's Goldschmidt versus Rice. I don't think McMahon will play. I think you'll see Caballero in there as well, but I think Jazz plays as well. So a couple extra lefties versus Early could be a big factor, but I don't know. You just got to go with your gut here. I think you throw a lot of the numbers out the window. Rice had good at-bats yesterday. I'd be into that. I know Goldie looked good the other day too, but I don't know. This is a tough call. Aaron Judge has 2 multi-hit games in this postseason. Also, if you want to know the real key to this game for me offensively, if the Yankees are going to win it, Judge or Stanton, one of these guys, I'm looking to do major damage, get some RBIs. That could flip it. Alex Bregman looks to move to 4-0 in his career in series versus the Yankees. Wow, Yankee killer in his career. At least his teams have been. Trevor Story drove in all 3 runs for the Red Sox on Wednesday. We watched that last night. I'm so pumped for this guy. He's needed it. He's played so well lately for the Red Sox. You know, their belief in him has finally paid off. It's just so great to see, and we'll see how he plays today. But he almost took over this game last night. He just missed that fly ball off Cruz to center, and I'm talking just missed it. And that saved the game for the Yankees, and that's why we're even having a Game 3. So Story's been a big key in this series. We called it out before the series started, and that continues to be the case today. Obviously, we have some manager questions. You know, this is how it goes. Alex elected to pitch to Judgy yesterday with the go-ahead run at second and an open base. Didn't kind of worked out, kind of didn't work out, kind of a moot point because there's a play Duran should have made. And then also there was the sticking with Whitlock with the 47 pitches. How will that play out today? But he was going for the kill yesterday, so I don't blame AC for doing that. I knew he was going to go for that. Man, we got a lot of information on JMO that I missed in here. Throwing a kick change now. He's been a lot better in the second half. And we all know all the storylines, though, in the Yankees. There's really not a whole lot here. This is interesting if you want to see the difference between the changeup groups. You can see he's spiking that middle finger on the right. That's a kick change. So that has changed his drop and horizontal movement. Here's the StatCast metrics. Oof, this is all over the place. Inches of drop, though. 31 inches of drop now compared to 27 before the grip change. So 4 additional inches of drop on his changeup makes it a better pitch. The whiff rate has gone way the F up. Now it's 25% whiff as opposed to 19. So, you know, basically saying JMO has an elite curveball. He's got good command with his fastball. His walk rate's outstanding. Here's some quotes on the changeup. On the changeup change. Here's from Tommy Hotovoy, Cubs pitching coach. His old changeup was such a traditional turn it over, worked through the inside of the ball, and would get good movement, but it looks so different compared to his other pitches, especially that hand stroke through the zone. Yeah, the kick change really has swept the league. Now, here's what I'm talking about. If your hand stroke is here every time, and then all of a sudden you're here, that's more noticeable for the hitter. So if you can find a way to create the same movement out of that same hand stroke, it's more deceptive. That's what he's doing now with the kick change. So it was just finding what cue is going to work best for that grip. And ultimately for him, it's the feeling of throwing the ball with both of the fingers, even though one of them is spiked. So that's the cue, and this is such a key point. Finding what cue is going to work. You can have all the information, but it takes that aptitude and that feel to take it from a number on a spreadsheet, a number on a TrackMan, and bring it into actual effectiveness in a game. The cueing is the key to get the information into that human brain and translate it into performance, right? The cueing is everything, creating an external focus, but creating some sort of constraint or way of feeling through something is really, really key on the human level. This is also from Megan Montemero's article in the Chicago Tribune. With his old grip, hitters could more easily pick up when Taillon went to the changeup because of how it stood out from throwing in the supinated position. This is what I was just talking about. I'll go and demonstrate it again. If he's coming through this way, slightly supinated with the hand, right? This is supination. And then all of a sudden he's super pronated on the changeup. Pretty easy to see that. Actually easier than an arm angle change, an arm orientation change, hand orientation, and often, quote, helped hitters in the past tee off on the changeup. All right, so I stuttered a little bit there because I'm all coffeed up and it's getting hot in here. We need some AC. But here's another thing that I wanted to talk about. He has excellent control, one of the league leaders in called strikes this year, and since the start of 2024, he ranks number 7 in zone percentage and 10th in walk percentage. He's right there with these guys, Logan Webb, Miles Michaelis, Brian Wu, Seth Lugo, Joe Ryan, Sonny Gray. Those are also really good strike throwers. But that's what JMO's going to bring to the table. They're going to have to hit him. I think the Padres have a shot to hit him. This new kick change might be the real key. But let's not forget, he put up a 1.57 through the very end of the season, and he's been pretty good. So in a way, the starting pitching matchup, I think, skews in favor of the Cubs, but obviously the Padres are looking to get an early lead here and then run that bullpen out there. So that's how that will play out. We already went over that before, but we got a little more information there, so I wanted to dive through that. What else we got here? On this date, in 1978, Bucky Dent hit the go-ahead 3-run home run, erasing a 2-0 deficit to lead the Yankees past the Red Sox 5-4 in the AL East tiebreaker game. That's a very famous game that I was told about a lot from my childhood. Yeah, that's how it went. It's kind of similar to this Guardians-Detroit thing because Dent and the Yankees came back from 14 back to win that AL East in 1978. Cleveland came back from 15 and a half back. So that's the thing about, baseball. It's such a long season. It takes a long year to have a good year. A couple teams have found that out the hard way over the years. This year it's Detroit, but they can erase all that with a big win. So we got 3 big games today. Detroit, Cleveland, 3-something. And we got, of course, Cubs, Padres that we just went over in the midday. And then tonight, primetime, late game from the Bronx. 2 rookies, Schlittler and Early, going at it. Should be an outstanding day of baseball. All right, one more little pass through the chat, and then I think we're going to call it for the day. We've got a lot of information off the top of the dome. I think this was a good show. A lot of disagreement about the Rice-Goldschmidt decision, and I think that's what makes it so hard and what makes this such a fun thing to debate. I'm playing Ben Rice. That's my personal opinion on it right now. Jaden saying, wouldn't be surprised to see Bayo come out of the pen. I would be surprised about that. We'll see. I mean, everything's on the table, but I'd be surprised just because the Yankees have his number a little bit at this moment. He's not scaring anybody. Stanton's really got to have better at-bats. That's a big key for the Yankees as well. He's been struggling bad. It can turn on a dime with him, though, so you just kind of plug him in and hope for the best. Judge and Stanton doing their jobs is the equivalent of Crochet going 8. Agreed. Superstars doing superstar things will win this ball game. That's what I'm looking for the Yankees. Judge hasn't taken over a game in a while in the playoffs, so I would love to see that on the Yankees side. Kick change sweep in the league. Should pronators throw a kick change? I guess I still don't know enough about it since I've only looked at it from a supinated perspective over my career, but kick change sweep in the league, man, unbelievable. What do I think of the Reds' pitching management yesterday? I actually didn't like it at all. I didn't understand Littell starting the game to begin with. I didn't understand why they didn't pull him quicker, get Lodolo in the game quicker. Obviously, Martinez ended up giving up some runs. He was one of the guys I had targeted and circled to be in this ball game, but Reds didn't give themselves a chance. I don't think their pitching plan was the proper one for yesterday. Littell, largely a contact pitcher. At the first sign of trouble, I would have got Lodolo in the game. Lodolo has the ability to shut you down, so I didn't love that. Rice at catcher, Goldie at first. That's also a possibility. Has Rice been catching Schlittler? Wellesley had some good at-bats yesterday. He's been making a difference behind the plate. So that's another route to getting everybody in. You play Rice behind the plate. You play Goldie at first. You play probably Caballero at third. I don't think Rosario, probably Caballero. And then you keep Jazz in there at second. For the most part, you have the guys in now that you want. Yeah, the Reds were completely overmatched. Yeah, Lodolo only gets to throw 14 pitches yesterday. I didn't really like that. This is a tough choice at catcher as well. Wells has done a good job behind the plate, but maybe you do throw Rice in there. These are tough managerial decisions. They really are. Yeah, Lodolo was the clear number 2. I don't know why they didn't start him. Totally agree with that. God, and Andrew Abbott doesn't even get to affect this series. Never gets in it. They don't make it to Game 3. They needed Hunter Green to be their Scooble, their Crochet. It's a much taller task going against that Dodger lineup, though. And it showed. It showed for sure. All right, that's going to be it for the show, actually. So we have Padres in the chat. I'm not going to take a Yankees-Red Sox vote. It's probably going to be about 50-50, depending on what type of fans we have in here. So Padres, we are believing in the Padres. 59% of you guys say the Padres will win. And then here we go. Off to MLB Now in about an hour, and then Baseball After Dark tonight. So I'll see you guys there. Thanks for hanging with me today. This has been a nice chat. I don't have any other thing to talk about. Otherwise, I would keep going. But like I said, it's also hot. I should probably get myself mentally prepared for this one. So have a good one. I will see you guys tonight. Enjoy the games, everybody. And peace out.